Hey everyone, welcome back to our YouTube channel. My name's Arvin.
My name's Che.
We haven't done a Q&A video in a long time, so we asked you guys to ask us some questions and we're going to answer them today. Let's get right into it. So we'll first start off with our Instagram questions that you guys asked us. So first question is top 5 most underrated designers. I don't necessarily have a top 5 because I'm really bad with like lists and stuff.
I feel like there are a lot of really good designers on stores like Apoc store. I feel like they are a really good brand that promotes a lot of like low-key designers that have a really good and like creative background and like do really unique items.
And like smaller stock. So it's like all handmade.
A lot of it's like made to order, I'm pretty sure too. So it's definitely an interesting store that carries a lot of these good underrated designers.
And also just checking out like CSM grad collections, you always find like really unique or cool new designs from younger designers and stuff. Like One Granary always showcases a lot of their, well obviously it's with CSM, but so a lot of the CSM grad stuff is really good. I guess to like name a brand, I would still say Yan Yan Vanesh is so underrated. I don't know. I feel like it's still not a lot of people buy into it, but I have a couple of his pieces and personally I love them. And that's just like off the top of my head, I guess, that I can think of. But can't really do a top 5. Someone says, what music do you both listen to / favorite albums?
Okay, well, favorite music genres? I honestly listen to like everything besides country, I think. And not like techno, EDM stuff.
You don't listen to rock?
I don't listen to rock either. There are old like rock songs that my parents probably played like when I was younger that I would enjoy still if I heard it, but that's just because it's related back to my parents, so I see kind of like a positive outlook on it. But like, I don't go out of my way to listen to rock or country music or...
Do you have any favorite albums? I don't have any, but...
I like Afro beats a lot right now. Like R&B's always kind of been a thing.
I mean, personally, I feel like nowadays I'm not really like experimental with like my music taste anymore. I pretty much just listen to rap, hip hop, like R&B, a little bit of Afro beats. And I feel like that's pretty much it, honestly. Yeah. In terms of favorite albums, I don't really have any like favorite anything, to be honest. But the new Daniel Caesar album that just came out was really good. So yeah.
I don't have any favorite albums either. I just kind of like what I like.
Yeah. I feel like now, especially nowadays, it's like playlists are so huge that like a lot of times you don't even listen. Like most. I guess the listeners don't even listen to entire albums as much, and artists don't even put out projects of work as much as so many like singles and stuff like that. But yeah, what's the most important part of putting together an outfit? I feel like I'm more of a, if there's a specific piece I want to wear, and then I'll build around that piece that I really want to wear. Whereas like before, it'd probably be like trousers first because it kind of like is the connecting part of the tops and the shoes. But nowadays I feel like I'm very comfortable with what I wear and very familiar with like my wardrobe, that if there's a specific piece that I just really want to wear that day, I'll literally shape the rest of the outfit to go with that one piece that I really want to wear.
Yeah, I agree with that. I don't go for trousers, I go for more so like there's one item I want to wear and then like I'll base my outfit off that, whether it's even just like a piece of accessory or something. Or like color, I think too. Like sometimes I like being very monochromatic, so like the whole look being one color. So I guess the first step of how I decide on what I want to wear is like picking a color too. It varies, honestly, depends on the day, depends on my mood, depends on how I feel.
It's true. He says, what's the most important part of putting together? In that case, I would say
silhouette.
Like shape and silhouette. Like everything has to make sense together. What's that word? Proportions. There you go. Thank you. Proportion wise, it kind of has to make sense. Like once you like learn the correct proportions or correct rules, I guess you could say, then you could start learning to break them in a way where like you could have something really exaggeratedly oversized and then something really tapered that like, you start breaking rules and exploring your personal style. But yeah, I think proportions for me is the most important. Next question is, how do you think the current fashion industry could be improved? I feel like there's a lot, but I also feel like a lot of the problems won't ever be solved. Like, for instance, social media is always going to be a huge role in terms of like opportunities, and it's like a popularity contest a lot of times, where like it's all about the numbers, how many followers you have, engagement, you know. And you see that more and more even in like job interviews now, or like campaigns and stuff. It's all about numbers these days rather than like seeking talent per se. And then it is such a huge market, like the fashion market. It's $1 trillion market industry that like a lot of things are just number based and like profit wise, you know, like the richest people are in fashion are people who don't care about fashion and are like corporate people at the end of the day. But
you have to pay to play.
Yeah, it's very like exclusive to a certain extent. Like a lot of times you either need connections or you need money to get into places or be at certain tables, you know, like be at certain events. It's something hard to like really change since it's always been like that almost.
It's just a very like cloud chasey industry.
Yeah, I think a lot of industries are, like entertainment especially.
Yeah. I still think we need to give more voices to like people of color.
Yeah.
Because I feel like racism still heavily exists even in the fashion industry. So.
And there's a lot of like tokenism, where like POCs don't necessarily have a lot of ownership in terms of things, and it's more like, yes, let's get POC models, but the people who are making the most money at the end of the day are still like white, Caucasian males.
So diversity just lacks.
Yeah, so that would definitely be a huge one too. Next question, what are your all-time grails you still haven't gotten a chance to attain?
I don't have any.
Honestly, if you asked me this question like 3-4 years ago, I probably would be able to list a couple of things that I really wanted that are like grails, for instance. But I think now I don't really look at clothing the same way. Like I don't have a specific item where I'm like, yo, this is like the holy grail that I must have. And it's more just like finding pieces that are more compatible and coherent with like the rest of the items that I have in my wardrobe. I don't really care about like as much of like, oh, like hunting down the specific season's piece, you know, just to have and just to own it, you know. So yeah, I don't think I have that anymore.
I don't either.
Yeah. Someone said, when's your next mixtape dropping? Never.
Next what? Mixtape?
Yeah, I retired from music. Best advice for becoming a stylist? Personally, I think well, it depends what kind of stylist you want to be. Do you want to be a personal stylist, editorial stylist, you know?
Your portfolio.
Yeah, if you want to become a personal stylist and you're really young, like you're trying to gain experience, internships are very important. Finding even like retail jobs, you know, like you start from the ground up. Like all of us started as sales associates somewhere, you know, working your way up. And then you try to like work for maybe brands that you're more interested eventually, or once you get the experience, and then slowly try to find like a luxury stores or luxury brands that are hiring, and then, you know, you work your way up and then become a personal stylist. Or you can obviously like be an industry stylist where you make connections and help people look for items. Like a lot of like rich people or like celebrities don't have time to like find specific items they want, and a lot of people essentially what they do is source items for these celebrities, and then you build that relationship and hopefully you build a clientele yourself. Editorial, same thing, like a lot of internships I feel like are very helpful. Work with stylists that like you look up to or enjoy their work, and then look for photographers, look for friends, just do shoots, and then build up a portfolio, and then hopefully eventually you get hired for jobs and
make your connections.
Yeah, connections are very important in this industry, unfortunately. Yeah.
Coming from two people that literally
don't like talking. Yeah, we're talking in front of a camera. But yeah. How does it feel working at Essence? There's great perks, obviously. You get discounts, you get benefits, you get a consistent paycheck, which like freelancing and stuff you don't really get. Or we get paid pretty well considering like the industry. There are a lot of jobs that pay less than like a sales job, obviously. We also work remotely, which is very nice. And like we still work in the industry that we enjoy, which is fashion. Like we have a passion for it. So that's obviously really good, and you also meet a lot of people through the Essence brand because you know you work for a, like established company per se. Whereas like if you're just like a freelance stylist who hasn't done any big projects here or whatever, it may be harder to connect with people and stuff like that. But of course, there's also downsides to working for a company. Like you're working for somebody else, you don't have as much freedom as a freelance artist. There's a corporate environment that you still have to abide to, stuff like that. There's pros and cons, like every job, you know.
If you two weren't in fashion, what would you be doing for work? I was actually thinking about getting back into tattoos. I don't know, like 5-6 years ago now. I used to kind of like do stick and pokes and stuff just for fun, but I gave up on that pretty quickly. However, I think I want to get back into it. I've always enjoyed drawing since I was like a little girl, so yeah, I think tattooing is definitely an industry that is very interesting. Being able to work for yourself at your own like safe environment, being creative, having your own clientele, like you're kind of your own boss, and I really like that. And I think there's also just money in tattooing. Of course, you have to have the experience and like, you know, be a good artist, but yeah, I'm definitely interested in getting back into tattoos, and with not stick and poke this time, of course, with like a machine. But yeah.
I think for me, it'd probably be something sports related. I really like combat sports, as you guys probably know, and maybe like coaching, teaching Muay Thai, or you know, I don't necessarily want to be a pro fighter or anything, because that's, I feel like, a different commitment lifestyle where like I'm not sure if I'm willing to commit to that, but definitely like coaching and stuff would be fun, and like just helping people getting like better health and, you know, teaching people a skill. I feel like it's fulfilling as well, which would be nice.
What got y'all into fashion?
I think we answered this last video, but we'll answer it again, I guess. For me, I played basketball, so I got into Jordans. I feel like a lot of like kids my age, like kind of same situation. Like played basketball, I got into Jordans, started wearing, I guess, a bit more. Oh, Tumblr was a huge thing, where like all the like dope crooks and castles. I never wore a lot of the brands, but like you were into like Filipinos, the dance culture and stuff. So a lot of streetwear stuff. And then when I was in uni, I was just trying to like figure out what I wanted to do, because I knew like school wasn't really resonating with me. So I was just trying to figure out stuff that I like, and then I guess like just dressing myself, styling myself, whatever, slowly getting into it, and then started learning more and more, worked at like different boutiques and stuff where started like where they stock like higher end brands and stuff, and then eventually just like started gained a passion in styling and stuff, and just went from there.
For me, I've always liked drawing, always liked doing something creative all through school, high school, whatever. Whenever I had the chance to choose like a course, it was always anything to do with arts, whether it's visual arts, media arts, anything digital, anything with my hands on, even like drama, for example, just doing anything that's like creative. So I was always into that, and I remember in high school I had the opportunity to choose a fashion course. I don't remember if I was in grade 11 or grade 12, but anyways, I took one fashion course in one school, and then I had to move, and then when I moved, I specifically chose a high school that had a fashion course, and then went to that school, and for one semester just to do that fashion course. And yeah, that's kind of how I got into going to Ryerson for fashion design, and then working at boutiques, and then ending up at Essence. But yeah, overall, I feel like I was kind of just like meant to be in something creative, because like ever since I was young, that's just like all I would want to do, and somehow that just like led me into fashion, I guess, because I like dressing up and putting like weird outfits together, and you know, I was always getting those looks from my mom when I was young, like, what are you wearing? And I'm like, don't worry, Mom, you don't get it. But I
still get those looks from my mom.
But that was just back in the day, so yeah, ended up here.
And now we'll get into YouTube questions. Someone said, do you guys think you'll ever launch your own label? If so, will it be for fun and to create personal pieces that you guys enjoy, or a serious project with consistent drops and constant production? I don't know about you, but I think if I was to create a label, I would definitely want to make it a serious project. with like consistent drops and stuff. Because it is a lot of like money to like start a label and all that. So like if I wanted to do it, I wouldn't want to just like
half-assed it.
yeah, and like, you know, kind of waste money per se. I used to be very kind of against creating a label for myself because I feel like there's already so many labels, and if I don't have anything like new per se to bring into the industry, I feel like it's kind of just like waste of production and materials and stuff.
For me, that's kind of why, a part of why I got into fashion design, going to university for fashion design. I wanted my own like label. I wanted my own brand. I wanted my own clothing line. But after years of just being in the fashion industry, I feel like it's so saturated, and like a lot of the stuff you see now is like, or at least brands that get praise are always like very repetitive designs, and there's like nothing special, I feel like, for those brands. And to me, yeah, if I was to create a brand, I want to make sure that it is different and it is special to me and it is unique.
Or it'd be stuff that like I really want to wear, that like I can't really find a brand that I really want to buy from, then yeah, maybe. But
I feel like it's hard to catch a break unless you have the clout, unless you have the backings of money, and like there's so much that will go into like making a label successful, just like anything, I feel like. But I don't know, I guess like a part of me is like, I wouldn't want to do it just based off the fear of like this brand would be like my baby, and then like I don't know, I just don't see it really working out, to be honest.
I mean, I wouldn't mind experimenting if I had the skill set to do it, or like if I really thought of an idea that really intrigues me, but so far not really what we're looking into. How did you discover your sense of style, and how long did it take? A couple of years, few years, 3-4 years, 3 years? I don't know. It's a journey.
From when are you counting? Since after basketball?
I guess when I really wanted to get into fashion, because like before I don't count, like if you don't care about fashion, or like you don't like really care about fashion, you're just like, you know, like yeah, everybody wants to look good, but you're not really focused on fashion. I don't really count those years, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But when I really wanted to like get into styling and fashion, I would probably say like 3 years-ish, 4 years-ish. But it doesn't really matter how long it takes, because it's like,
I think I'm still trying to find.
yeah, like everybody has different growth speeds, and you know, like everybody progresses differently. Some people may be stuck on a style and think that's their style forever, but then eventually even progressing from that. So who's to say that we'll be dressing the way we dress now in a couple of years?
I'm personally always changing. I've talked about this so many times to the point where it's like really annoying to talk about right now, but I'm not a uniform dresser like Arvin. I'm very much about my emotions and how I feel, and that's how I dress. So it's like, to me, even like I've talked about this in previous videos, I don't even know how I'm necessarily going to be dressing in the summer, because in the past, or last summer for example, I've been into more like pinks and colors and like very girly, whereas this summer I'm not sure I'm going to be like that, because that's not how I feel. Like I don't feel all cutesy girly anymore. I don't know if that makes sense, but yeah, I think it's going to be a long journey until the day I die where I'm like constantly probably experimenting with how I want to dress, because sometimes like even outfits, if I really want to like think about what I'm wearing and it's an occasion or something, sometimes I want to play a character, if that makes sense. Like what I present myself as on the outside has a lot to do with how I feel for the day on the inside. So it's kind of a never-ending journey for me.
But definitely just explore, see what you like, see brands that you maybe like, that you really like the style of, or like, I don't know, like people that have really good style, I guess, and then you could like thrift similar pieces to try it and see if it works on you, and then eventually invest in brands that you like, or eventually invest in like better quality pieces of the same style, for instance. But it's not something to rush, or like you're always going to be growing your style. So yeah, can you share more Muay Thai clips and stuff? Super interesting hobby. I would care more to learn about. Yeah, we could try. I mean, I could try to share more, but I think we're like mainly focused on fashion on this channel. Obviously we sprinkle like daily lives of our stuff. I could try, but I feel like Muay Thai is like my time to be away from like social media and stuff, and like not staring at screens all the time. So I always like don't really film.
It's like your personal time to yourself.
Yeah, it's like a recharge almost for daily life. So a lot of times I don't even think of recording or like remember to record and stuff. So, but I'll definitely try to incorporate it more if that's what you guys want to see. Someone asked, stylist wise, do you think you should be bigger than you are now? Asking both. I don't think so. I don't think necessarily we're like deserve to be bigger or anything than what we are now. What you put in is what you get out, but also you need luck and opportunities and all that. And like, there's people who work harder than us for sure. There's people more talented than us that probably have a smaller platform than us. Or, you know, you kind of just gotta understand that like, not just because you work hard doesn't necessarily mean you get results. Or like, you might see people who you don't think deserve a big platform or great opportunities that you want, but you don't know what they're doing behind the scenes, and you know, maybe they're good at putting themselves out there. It is what it is, you know, like I feel like you kind of just gotta focus on like progressing and growing. As hard as that is these days when you're always looking at social media and like comparing yourself to others, but like at the end of the day, also for your own well-being and mental health, like you should just focus on like, as long as you're continuing to progress there in like getting towards your goals, I think that's the only thing you should really focus on. I mean, would you want to have better opportunities and better?
Yeah, of course, anyone would want to be better and bigger and more successful, but
working towards it.
Yeah, just make your goals.
Yeah. Someone said, what is Che's full name?
Don't worry. I'm incognito. Nobody knows me. I'm kidding. My full name is Che. That's my first name. And my last name is Angunamala.
Do you have a middle name?
No, I don't. Wish I did. Okay, that's all the questions. Thank you guys for asking them. Thank you guys for supporting us and watching the video. If you guys have more questions, like feel free to leave it in the comments below and we'll answer it. But yeah, thank you for watching. If there's anything you'd like to see from us, let us know. And like, comment, subscribe, please, and thank you. And we'll see you guys next week.